Hey there. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a dragon from Clash of Clans. So let's start with the eye. So the upper lid of the eye, we're going to start in the back and do an upward curve to the top. And we're going to curve in the opposite direction down to the front of the eye. And then we're going to just curl up the front of the eye brow like so. And underneath here, I'm just going to do an overlap here and just curl a curved line for the under part of the eye to that point. And over here on this side, I'm just going to imagine a large circle. So for the pupil, I'm just going to draw a portion of that circle on one side. And over here in the middle of the eye, I'm going to draw a curve in one direction to split the eye, and then one in the opposite direction, going the other way, and then color this in black. Okay, just above the eye, I'm just going to draw a large, sort of thick brow. So up here, I'm going to draw a curve that sort of follows the contour of that upper brow. And then I'm going to come down in the opposite direction, aim towards that point right there. Let's go to the top of the head. So right about here in the back, I'm just going to draw an angled line that goes just down the front of the head, from the back to the front. And from here, I'm just going to do an upward curve to the front of the nose. From here, I'm just going to take the front and just curl it down. And then I'm going to step in a little bit and just do another curl in the front there. This is for the nostril. From this top point, I'm just going to angle down and then connect this point with the bottom here with a straight line. And I can go ahead and color that in black. Let's go up to the top here again on the nose. I'm just going to draw a curve to the front middle of the nose. And from here, I'm just going to angle down and then curve like I did over here on this side. And up here, I'm just going to draw an angle line down and then just connect that point to the front. And then again, color that in black for the other nostril. Now from here, I'm just going to go back to the top of the head and step in a little bit on the top and do an upward curve to the top center point of the head. From this point, I'm going to draw a straight line that goes to the middle. And then from here, I'm going to curve, like I did here, to the front of the nose. So coming down and up again. So you can see it sort of tapers in. And then again, over here, I'm going to step down, go straight across, and then just draw an upward curve that connects that point to the front again. Over here, at the nostril, I'm just going to step up and just do a line across and then curve this down towards the front. And then I'm going to curve this back up underneath this eye and then curl it down as I come towards the bottom of that eye, or in line with that eye. And I'm going to curl up the end here, so coming straight up like this. Okay, let's just draw a little bit of detail on the other side of the eye. Just because he's pointing that way, you still see a little bit of the brow. So here, I'm going to come down and then curl in across. Okay, so that's as much as we need to do with that eye. Let's go to the back here. So the back of the head, from this point, I'm just going to curl around to the back of that eye, just kind of like this. I'm just kind of stop it right about there. He's got a couple of the horns that kind of stick up, so right about here, I'm going to curve up, and I'll tuck that down in the back of the head like so. Let's go back here. On this point, I'm going to curl up, and then I'm going to tuck that in like I did on the middle here. And then here you'll see just a little bit of the back side, so I'm just going to do a curve up like this, and then curve that back down. Alright, now he's got a couple teeth, so right about here under this nostril, I'm going to draw a curve going forward, and then tapering back out. And I'll do another one back here, with a little bit of space in between it. And you'll probably see a little bit of the opposite side here, kind of coming out like that. And I'm going to have his mouth open and sort of breathing fire. So over here on this end, I'm just going to curve down. And I'm going to curve in the opposite direction to the front of the mouth, like this. From here, I'm just going to do a straight line, angled down. And then from this point, I'm going to go to the jaw. So I'm just going to curve this line out. So just following that top part of the mouth. And then from here, I'm going to aim towards this point. But as I go along, I'm just going to let it vanish, like so. Okay, now let's draw some fire. Now fire can be pretty tricky to draw, but I'm just going to simplify it for you. So from this point, I'm going to curve and just curve in the opposite direction, kind of like a backwards S. And then from here, I just want to curve around and bring it around like that. And from this point, I'm just going to curve in and stop right there. Let's go up to the top here. So here I'm going to draw a curve that goes up And I'm going to bring this back down in the opposite direction. And then kick this out again. Go up. And again, bring this around like this. And then I'm going to do one more curl that goes forward. And then I'm going to connect this point to here by just doing a curve that goes up like that. Now here in the empty areas, you could just draw a little bit of like little flame pieces. So going in a curve like this, and then connecting it with a curve. Up here I'll do the same thing. So going up, and then connecting it with a curve, and then one final one here, up, and then connecting that. So very simple fire. Now let's get up to the upper shoulders. So up here, under this horn, I'm just going to draw a curve for the upper part of the shoulder. From this point, I'm going to curve out again towards the elbow. So he's got his hands, sort of his arms wrapped around with his claws. From this point, I'm just going to curve up towards the center of the body. Now for the claws, I'm going to just really do a simplified claw. So he's got 3 fingers. So right about here, in the middle here, I'm going to start with the tip of the fingernail. I'm going to do sort of what looks like a raindrop aiming that way. From this point, I'm going to curve out and do a hard curve outwards towards the same direction as that nail there, and curve it back in behind that claw. I'll do the same thing on this side. So curving out this way, and then back in and tucking it under that finger. And all I need to do here is just separate them with these curves. So then now you got a very simple claw. Right about this knuckle, I'm just going to draw the forearm detail. So just coming in, just curving a line across there just to separate the forearm and the bicep area. Now let's get down to the legs. So right about here, I'm going to draw a curve that goes in towards the body. Now, I'm going to imagine this back of the leg is going to always aim towards the kneecap. So right about here is where the kneecap will be. So I'm just going to do a reverse curve out for the front of the thigh. And then from this point, I'm just going to wrap around that point. Like this. This goes down towards the shin. So that means that the calf is back here. So I'm just going to draw a curve that goes up. And then I'm going to curve this to one nail. I'm going to go in. Do another nail. In. And then a third nail. And go back in. Tuck that underneath that shin. And then from here, I'm going to do a curve going this way, just to separate the nail. Now let's go into the body. So right about here is where the neck would start. I'm going to have the body come down into a tail. So I'll start right about here. I'm going to do a curve that comes inwards, and then I'm going to switch directions and curve underneath this leg, like so. And then I'm going to curve the opposite direction at the end. So just kicking the tail up this way. Now, it's going to get thin and starts to get thicker here. So the body is actually quite thick. And right about here is where it starts to get thin. So I'm just going to tuck this curve underneath that leg. Very simple, like that. Here on the back of the tail, it's got a couple spikes. So I'm just going to do some very sharp points. I'll draw 5 of them right about here. I'm going to go back up here. Now, right here where the neck meets the head, I'm going to do an overlap. Just come in a little bit. And just follow this contour here. So going all around, behind that leg, and then start to taper out as you get towards the back of the tail. And then from here, I'm going to split the distance between these 2 lines in half. So starting at the back, I'm going to go up and making sure that it's evenly split from front to back. And all I have to do from this point is just draw these curves on one side, so curving upwards. And I'm basically staying horizontal. So essentially where I start will stop at the same height here. So going up, across here, I'll go across. This just gives it a little bit of definition. It makes it look a little bit more bumpier by doing it this way. Okay, so there's the belly. Now I got to draw the opposite hand. So here I'm going to do a similar thing that I did on this side. So I'm going to start with the first claw first. So here I'll go up, curve to the tip of the nail of the claw, and curve back. And then I'm just going to do a series of overlaps. Going this way. Again, coming in, out, back in, and then separating the nail with a curve. this. From this point, I'm going to do an overlap and just draw that line for the forearm into the back. Here, I'm going to draw the forearm coming underneath this hand, and I'll probably bump out a line just underneath for the palm of the hand there. And then for the back leg, I'm just going to try to mirror exactly what I did on this side. So the leg would be right about here, the front of the thigh to the shin, and then for the nails, I'm just going to draw exactly what I did here. So 1, 2, 3, and then tuck that in behind that kneecap, and then drawing these curves in this direction. Okay, now let's get into the final part, which are the wings. So the wings would sort of line up here. So let's start up here and do an upward curve, and I'm going to reverse curve going up the opposite way. At this point here, I'm just going to draw a little half circle. This is going to house a little claw that's pointing backwards. I'm going to come up a little bit here and just draw a line and a curve that goes to the tip of the wing. Now I'm going to do a tapered line that sort of follows the contour of this outer line. So from here, I'm going to get thicker as I get towards that claw, and then start going a little bit more even distance along the whole way, along the whole distance. Okay, then from here, I just want to draw kind of, if you know what like a bat wing looks like, it's sort of got like these little curves. So I'm going to start here, and it really doesn't matter where you put these little curves or where you stop. I'm just going to kind of go around like this, and then taper in behind that arm. And then from this point, draw a curve to those points there, kind of like that. And then for the opposite wing, I'm just going to do a mirror on the other side. So starting right about here, I'm going to go up, like I did on the side, draw a half circle, then draw that claw, and coming up a bit, go to the outer part of the wing, and then again, following along by tapering that line out. And then from this point, again, doing one curve, and this will probably just vanish behind that eye. And then what I did here, this is probably down here somewhere, so I'm just going to connect with a line like that. And I think that's it. There we have it. There's a dragon from Clash of Clans. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give us a like. Please share this video, and we'll see you again soon.